strained and challenged in yoga. So people always seem to be thinking of the headstand as the most dangerous thing to do for your neck in yoga, but actually standing postures where you are constantly turning your neck off to the side can be also very, very prone to creating an excessive amount of tension. Because especially in a lot of standing postures when you're positioned, if there's anything going on into the lower body, so basically if the legs are not positioned okay, if the shoulder, and that's why it's so important to always remind people that as soon as there's a foundation, the connection to the ground, this is what you start with, then you go a little higher into the legs, then you go into the hips, then you go into the torso, and then you finish with the head. So basically, I will never, ever, ever tell someone to look up before I told them to set their hips and set their shoulders. So if my shoulders are not stacked, if my shoulders are not on top of one another, why on earth would I ever tell someone to look up? Because basically if my shoulder is here and I'm struggling to just get my shoulder to get up, why would I look up? Look down. Keep the shoulders relaxed. It's fine to not be able to look up. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you really want to make sure that you first can find all of that freedom of motion before you would look up. And even then, lots of people look up like this. Back of the neck always long, chin always very slightly pulled in. And even then now, I'm looking with my eyes. I don't need to look with my whole face. I mean, the gaze is through your eyes. It's not your whole face that needs to go and look. And so basically when you're twisting, a lot of people also when they're twisting, they're like, I'm going to go all there. And they're like, when you're twisting, same thing. In a seated twist, chin can be very slightly phased off to the side of the sternum, but it does not need to go all the way here. That's how a lot of people will create tons of tension in their neck. The twist is something that has to go into the spine. Your spine is twisted even if you're here. You don't need to force it to go all the way in. And that's why I was telling you before that the spine will be the most challenged by twists. The neck is probably that part that will be also very difficult to remind people not to go too deep into. So, simple things that we talked about again with shoulder stands. Ideally, shoulder stands, always blankets underneath the shoulders, especially if you're beginners. If you're beginners, maybe even a bolster underneath your shoulders so that the head is not forced into complete flexion. We don't go to the sides when we're in such a deep flexion, just like we wouldn't do if we were in a deep extension. And of course, for weight-bearing exercises, for headstands, headstands is something that is worked through gentle repetition. You should never go into a full headstand with beginners. Make sure that they can control the basic principles. Usually, can they hold a down dog comfortably for a couple of minutes? If they can, that's already a good start. Then, can they hold a dolphin posture for a couple of minutes? That's an even better indicator because it requires more strength and flexibility in the shoulders. Then, do they have enough strength in their shoulders to be able to take weight on and off their heads? That's an even better indicator. And then you start by maybe bringing a bit of weight onto the head and then maybe going into a full inversion. So there's a long way to go before you shove people in headstands. So when you go there, there should already be enough certainty within yourself that you're like, okay, I've given them all the warning I could. It's now for them to choose if it's appropriate or not to go.
But the third one, he said to hold it downward dog with the dolphin, and then he said
to start using shoulder strength to see if they can take weight on and off. So basically the little exercise where from your dolphin, you're trying to go forward and then back. Forward and then back. This is a really good way to see if you can have enough strength in your shoulders to be safely going into your headstand. So yeah, for sure, neck is extremely prone to a lot of tension. Anyone working again at a computer, very difficult unless your workstation is very ergonomically positioned. Head will tend to tilt forward to go really like this. So let's try to remember A little bit of a thread pulling our head out of the shoulders. You also will tend, just by feeling long, right away the head tends to return to its normal spot. Though, lots of little exercises can be also very, very, very beneficial. Being on your belly and just holding your head off the ground can be as simple as that. So this is something that I did a couple of years ago, and that's also something that helped me unlock the part of my back that was always so stiff. It's basically just holding your head a little bit lifted. As you get more comfortable, you can get a little bit deeper, and eventually you can start working at your computer, you can start reading, you can start doing a bunch of stuff. This is exactly what babies do. That's how they learn to get their back strong enough to support them. They have to first see, okay, can I lift my head without doing this? Shoulders are relaxed, the neck is long, the chin is not lifted. You're really trying to keep the head still always nicely pulled out of your shoulders. And you breathe. Those are very simple ways to slowly rebuild the strength and sufficient support in your head to make it so that and this will help your back balance. It's through also muscular support that you can go deeper in back balance. Good. Stretching the neck, very gentle, very gentle. You see here an exercise where you just gently send the head off to the side. Whenever you're using a hand, there's not an actual pulling with your hand. It's just the weight of the hand that just kind of gives a bit more of a direction to just have, again, a bit more feedback. It should always be done very gently, very, very carefully, with a small descent of the opposite shoulder. Here she has the arm behind her back, just to get that really nice little descent in the shoulder. So when you do that, though, make sure that you're not already so you start from a neutral position. So if you start from already being here, you won't benefit from it as much. So it's important whenever you stretch one part, especially something like the neck, you should start already with a very straight spine. So that's why I often suggest to do it on the ground, on your back, with the head supported by the ground. So you have even more feedback. Those are good ways to kind of prevent further injuries.
Do you sometimes recommend to actually just lower that shoulder more than actually placing the hand on the head sometimes? Because I find that a little bit safer even, because a lot of people do want to pull on the head.
People will,
So I find just kind of pressing down the shoulder or just pulling the arm down.
Just gently pulling the arm down is sufficient.
A bit safer, yeah.
Yeah, for most people. Unless, if they're on their backs, then yeah, maybe. But then again, like, just make sure if you emphasize, but if you see that people really don't get it, then you're just, okay, let's just like if you mix up pronation and supination, then at one point you just say, oh, sorry, I was completely wrong. And that's okay, it's okay. So if you realize that when you say, okay, gentle, hold with your fingers on the side of your head, and you see that people are yanking their heads, and then you see their hair slowly coming off, and yeah, gentle. So yeah, definitely, absolutely. If you see that it doesn't seem indicated, or the people are not responding well to the cues, take them out of the posture. It's absolutely indicated. That's pretty much it.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.